Peace and blessings. Back again. Yours truly, Chrissy B. Amotep. I want to say thank you for your comments. Don't forget to like our videos. Share the videos. Leave your comments down below. Like them and subscribe to the channel. Chrissy B. Amotep. Spread the word. I'm here once again to talk to you about the game. What is the game? I done a Facebook post about a couple of days ago about the game. And the game is really the system that we're in. We're in a really tricky system. A right-dominated system, with right supremacy at the top of the ladder. But the game is really white supremacy. The game is the system. The system is rigged. The game is rigged. As somebody made a comment on my Facebook post. They said the game is rigged, which is totally right. And the game really is right structure, right rules and regulations, Caucasian rules and regulations, European rules and regulations, and philosophy. It's a game where they make the rules and they change the game. They change the game to suit them. And if you get a glimpse of that, you might be winning in the game, or that you might be getting a foothold in the game, they change it again. And you find this in law. You find this in food. You find this in entertainment, sports, all sorts. Health and banking, finance, the economy. You go to your bank and you see these checks, and you've got to read the small print. If you don't read the small print, you can lose a lot of money. A combination of losing a lot of money as well as paying a lot of money. And there's things that you're entitled to that you don't really know that you're entitled to these things unless you've got to get like a magnifying glass to see these small prints. And some people's eyes aren't very, very, very strong, and they've got to hold the thing close to them like this to really see what is going on. And that's part of the game. Part of the game is also foods, because there's lots of all sorts of chemicals in the foods we eat. A lot of people know this. There's a lot of genetically modified foods doing the rounds, and a lot of people are starting to grow their own foods. They're starting to wise up and grow their own foods, which is a good thing. Some people can afford to grow their food, some people can't, unfortunately. And they put all sorts of things, all sorts of chemicals, in the foods. And they don't tell you. And all of these, if you look at the back of various packagings, you've got all of these E numbers. E numbers are very sweeteners. And you've got these scientific words. Some of these words are very long, some of these foods contain. And you're going to either get a dictionary to find out what these words actually mean, or you're going to go on. Now we've got the internet, so you can now go online to see what these chemicals mean, and you can also see what they do. And that's why a lot of people got type 2 diabetes. That's why a lot of people got various cancers. Dementia sets in at some people at earlier ages now. I'm hearing a lot of people now in their 50s are starting to get early signs of dementia. You see, they've been diagnosed with dementia at early ages now, whereas before you had to be like 80 or something to be diagnosed with dementia. And this is part of it. So it's also part of a strategy to really control the population. Black people are more at risk than white people, but white people are at risk as well, because they do it to anybody. They don't. The game doesn't discriminate, but the game, of course, black people are more susceptible because they're the ones down the bottom, and they're the ones who have the least money. And even though we're the biggest spenders in the economy, we've got the least capital. Because all of these things were taken away from us during slavery, and during colonization, and during the oppression era. When they came into Africa, and they stole our land and gave us their Bible. You see, so that's part of the game as well. Racism is part of the game, but racism is there, and the game is a lot more. It's not. It's like almost. It's like you've got to use your third eye to see what's going on, and they make the rules up as they go along. They change things around. When they feel like it, they just have something where they can just say, okay, then you're no longer going to get. We're going to increase the interest rates from banks. Now we've got COVID-19. So now because we've got COVID-19, they've got to relax some of these rules and laws because it affects everybody. It affects even some of the very richest people on the planet. Because you saw Richard Branson about 3 or 4 weeks ago wanting the government to loan him some money so that he could keep afloat Virgin Atlantic. You see, because they saying that his airline, because there's no flights much now because of COVID-19, the government has restricted the flights to various countries. And so because it's now, Virgin Atlantic is losing out on a lot of money because of lack of flights. And so as a result, Richard Branson said that he wants the government to more or less to loan him some money. I can't remember how much it was. It was a lot of money, you know. I think it might have been about 500 million or something like that. It was a lot of money. And he's a man who's worth about 4 or 5. He's worth £5 billion. I think it's about £5 billion. He's worth a ton load of money. You know, one of the richest men in the world. And there he is begging. So there's more or less the public is begging because it's our money. It goes into towards tax and national insurance and so on. And so it's really the poor man's money going into the establishment, going into the system, going into the economy, which he's going to take and just to, you know, have as leverage to keep his business afloat. You see, are we going to get the money back? I don't think so. We're the ones who we're the, you know, it's the man on the street. I mean, I'm blessed, but it's the man on the street who are going to be paying all of this money, you know, and not going to get anything back, no incentive back. So this part of the game as well, you see. And so the rich are playing the game as well, because the rich can flip it, because they know that the government are on their side because the money talks. What do they say? Money talks, yeah, and bullshit walks. Money talks and bullshit walks. So there you have it. So that's part of the game. Bob Marley spoke about the game in some of his songs, you know. Don't let the system get you. Don't let them fool you, or rearrange you, or even try to school you. Could you be loved? Tells you a few lines, and there's other songs of Bob Marley which is very, very deep, which can't quite come to me right now, you know. But that's one of the songs that has lines in it, and that's one of his most popular songs. So that song was a big hit for him around the world. I believe that was one of his last songs before he passed. And it tells you, don't let them school you, don't let them fool you, or even try to rearrange you, adjusting you to their way, to their methods, you know. And so the game, I think this might be part 1 and part 2, because I'm gonna have to do another part to this. But this is just basic one about being focused at this time, because there's a game and you've got to know how to play the game. And another, how you play the game is unification. That's what Marcus Garvey was talking about. Unification. If you come together, study group economics, like the Jews. Look at the Jews. The Jews have got their own medical care, they've got their own hospitals, they've got their own banking system, their own economy, they've got their own businesses. They have everything. They don't need to go into the economy. And even though they contribute to the economy, because they're still paying into the economy, they've got their own economy. So if this economy was to go now, they've got their own. They won't suffer, because they study group economics, like Garvey suggested. The Asians do it as well, and the Turkish people do it as well, because they've got so many shops and so many businesses around the place. They connect with each other, and they spend and buy with each other. So the money stays within the community, so it never really goes out. And it's only black people who don't study this. They don't study what Garvey told us to do. Study group economics, put your monies together, and then build the economy that way. Some of our elders, when they came to England from the Caribbean in the 1940s and 50s and 60s, they had this partner system where they'll go around, and it was like a banking system, where it was called a partner, where every week you're going to pay into this system. This person might do it at their house, and maybe this person might have, I don't know, 10 or 20 people who pays every single week into this system. And after several weeks, one person gets their draw, or gets like a, I don't know, like a wad of money, yeah. And then another week, another person gets their wad of money. It goes like it's like a musical chair thing. So when it's your turn, maybe this week is your turn, next week is another person's turn to get their lump sum of money. It's a lump sum, yeah, like a lump sum. And that's how a lot of the Caribbean generation from the Windrush of the 40s, 50s and 60s, that's how they were able to buy houses and buy a car. That's how they were able to go back on holiday to Jamaica or to Antigua, to the Caribbean and back again. And how they were able to maintain a house, put clothes on their body, put food on the table, pay bills, have a bit of luxury and a bit of entertainment to go with it. If they never did these things, because some of the monies they were getting was really meager, it was really poor. And so as a result, they had to come up with another idea, another method. And this partner system was really, really popular in Jamaica and other parts of the Caribbean before they came in. So they carried it over with them, and it worked a treat, because without that system, they will all be in council estates, or be in hostels, or be in what you call it there. They'll probably be on the streets. They wouldn't have the houses they have, or they'll just be renting it. But some of them were actually able to purchase their house and buy a house and stay in it. Just give me a minute. As a result, and so it's very, very important for them to have that. You see. So as I was saying, so the game is the same now as it was then, because when the Caribbeans came here, and I can include the Asians in it as well, because they came as doctors and as professionals, as business people, the Asians, whereas people from the Caribbean, and to a certain extent Africa as well, because some of the Nigerians and the Ghanaians, they came here to study, but there's some Africans who came here to work in factories and so on, and they came here, but slightly different from us, because I don't think they knew about the partner system in Africa, but it was mostly a Caribbean thing. I've never known that Africans have used the partner system, you know. But so when they came over here, they were ousted out, no blacks, no dogs, no Irish. And so they had to come up with a second. They had to find something, and they took the partner from Jamaica, from the I keep saying Jamaica. I do apologize. From the Caribbean, and brought it over here, and because it's a Caribbean thing, it wasn't just in Jamaica. Because the Caribbean, all the islands, even though there's different accents and slightly different cuisines, and you know, it's more or less the same culture. It's just the accents are different, and some of the dishes are different, and some of the ways of life are slightly different. But it's more or less the same thing, because we all eat the same similar foods. Yeah, it's different, but it's not different, if you see what I mean. And so they all bought into this partner system, and it was very, very essential for them. And so as a result of that, they were able to, so we went over that ground. So yeah, so when they first came in, the game was very, very different, because the game was there for them to fail, but they never failed in the game, because they did what they had to do. Some of them even studied, when done training. A lot of them worked in the NHS, worked in public transport, worked in various companies and factories, worked as teachers. The ones that were really educated from back home in the Caribbean, when they came here, they trained as teachers, or they were teachers in the Caribbean, and when they came here, they were ready to just go straight in and work as teachers. So they had their heads screwed, and they didn't just come here to sit down and to do nothing. And so the game, they kind of won at the game, but they lost. We ended up losing, because the changes were very rapid. And as I said about white supremacy, when they want to dominate you, they change their game to suit their interests. And for you to fail at the game, and if they see that you're getting a foothold and you're winning, they switch it. You see, and it doesn't just happen to black people; it happens to everyone. You know, but even some of their people, it happens to white people. But the ones at the top are the ones that dictate the ones at the top are the ones that dictate how the game is played, and dictate how it, you know, the energy of the game, the levels of the game, the speed of the game, and so on. And if you don't know how to play this game, you're going to lose out. And the way that Marcus Garvey talks about how to play the game in Philosophies and Opinion, you know, and other master teachers like Dr. Ben and John Henry Clark, Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Chris Wellison, and all of these other master teachers that we have speak about it in their literatures, and speak about it when they do public talking. And they talk about the game and how it's systematically designed for you to fail, especially as a black person, mind you. You know, and so on. And so you're gonna learn how to play it, and how to play is to be smart, read literatures, and adjust your game to that game. You see, when you have your own business, it's a lot easier to succeed at the game, because if you have your own business and you're employing your own people, then you're winning at the game, because it's something that they don't want you to do. They want you to have your own business, and they don't want you to have your people who look like you, you know, being around you and winning and eating bread. And so it's a deep thing, and I can't speak about it in one show. And I must go and do some cooking. I've got to go and do some cooking now. So I'll say, as I don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like the videos, share them around, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, listen, you take care. We're gonna do a part 2 to this again soon, and hopefully we have more people following us by then. Thank you thank you for your subscriptions, by the way, because the other day I was only on about, I think I was on about 35, now I'm on 45. It's only 10 people, but 10 people is better than nothing at all. We're trying to grow the channel, and so hopefully within the next few months we're going to try and get up to at least 1,000 subscriptions. We're going to try and do that, and we pray that you'll follow us every inch of the way. So you stay safe out there. Thank you so much, and bless you all. Peace and love. One love.